It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
It's Tuesday, July the 11th. Good morning. We've got a great show ahead of you for the next few hours. We're going to hear some good music. We're going to tell some funny stories. We're going to have a good time. And I will do what I do every day, which is resist the urge to quit. I've been here since, January 9th. And every morning at some point I go, yeah, this is my last day. I can't do this again. And then I get here, and then we hang out, and then have a great time. And I think, man, tomorrow's going to be awesome. But every damn day, for at least 1 second, I think, this is it. I got to quit. I got to get out of here. Because, let's face it, quitting jobs, I come by it naturally. Been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. It's just one you can easily walk away. I think I used to be more like that.
I mean, it's been a while, obviously, but my first job I ever had, I was thinking about it this morning as I'm thinking about quitting, paper route. Summer between 7th and 8th grade. First official job, like not for a family friend, literally hired by someone I'd never met to do a job for money. I was delivering the Kentucky New Era, and it's an afternoon paper, and it's during the summer. So I get time at the pool. I get to hang out, and then around 2:33, I got to leave the pool, go collect the papers, roll them up, deliver them, and get back to the pool before I got to then go home for dinner. So it's about a 2-hour interruption in my flow.
Oh man!
And as the summer progressed, I just got later and later and later. And I'm on the phone one day, and the dude is literally yelling at me. People are complaining they need their papers by 4 o'clock, and you're not getting there until 4:30, sometimes 5.
Damn it!
And at one point, I remember this. Like, I know I'm sitting on the couch in the living room at my house, and he goes, "You are very close to being out of a job." And he goes, and I said, "Well, look, those papers are being delivered a lot earlier than they will be if you deliver them." And that's what I said to get him to say, "You are very close to being out of a job." And I said, "Actually, sounds pretty good to me." And I just hung up the phone.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I thought I took a stand. And then I realized I did have the self-awareness to go, well, he fired me because I'm not good. I mean, I screwed up. I'm late. I told him I'd have the papers delivered by 4 every day. He's got every right to yell at me. And I'm thinking there'll probably be some blowback. Small town. My parents are going to hear about this, or they'll just notice I'm not delivering the papers. I'm going to have to come up with a good story. Best thing about me being the 8th kid, no one noticed. Neither one of them. It never came up. There's never a, hey, I noticed you're not delivering the papers anymore. It never came up. And I was like, quitting jobs is awesome.
Clearly, you didn't get the Kentucky New Era at your home.
No, I actually did. It did come to the house, but nobody could read it till my dad got it, and he didn't get home from work till after 5. So even though it was even later, when an adult delivered it the next day, no one noticed.
Somebody else had the route to your house.
Yeah.
No. It was. But I just remember thinking, like, man, it was just that easy. All I had to do was hang the phone up.
Yeah, the sweet release of quitting,
It's a pretty great thing. Zepp, surely you've quit a job or 10.
Well, when we talk about spectacular ways you've been fired, that's really in my wheelhouse. That's my MO. However,
yeah, right, yeah, I've got a few great burning buildings as well. But leaving on your own accord, that's a different thing.
I did one time in radio. I mean, I quit a couple of odd jobs like yourself when I was younger. Just walked away from Chicago Lake Liquor. Just didn't show up for work one day because the guy, it's under different ownership now. But the guy that originally owned it just wasn't my type. He was the kind of guy that would come in and go, "Hey, could you set up that display over there?" And you'd set it up, and he'd walk in a half hour. You know what? Actually, I'd rather have it over there. And you're thinking, then set it up over there yourself. So I just didn't jive well with that.
Right.
But in radio one time, back during the good old non-compete days in Sioux City, Iowa, I had one of these jobs I got hired for to do an afternoon drive deal, and they said, we'll give you a raise in 90 days. We just want to see how you work out. We don't want to pay you much now, but in 90 days, we'll give you a nice bump. Okay, I'll take the job. 90 days turned into a year, and I walked in. I said, hey, man, like every month, hey, man, can I get a couple extra I mean, where's this raise at? And finally, nothing. And then I was at the bar one night and ran into the program director of the rock station in town. He said, why don't you come work for us? And so instead of going in to do my show at 2 o'clock one Wednesday afternoon, I just went to a different radio station, and that's how they found out. I was on a different station.
Nice.
That was my favorite I quit job.
That's good quitting. Not only did you quit, you started across town at the rival. That's That's hard to get. That's hard to beat, actually.
And I
Tony,
did-
have you ever quit a job like in an inappropriate way or in something less than by the book?
Not an inappropriate, but a light bulb went out. I have quit a couple radio jobs, yes, but there was I quit my famous job at Pants Plus because I had to devote my time to college. But I remember my manager at the time was like, "What do you want to do that for? What do you want to go to school for? What do you want to go to college? You can make $10,000 a year staying here."
Oh, my God.
And it
no
did
way.
sound pretty enticing. But I made the leap.
I mean, Pants
Oh.
Plus, how much was there to do, really? You weren't back there stitching seams, right?
Oh, no, it was high-pressure sales, baby.
Okay,
You
all
could
right.
not let a guy walk out the door unless you passed him on to the
So-
big guns.
What does the plus imply? You had pants and shorts?
Oh, you had tops, you had shoes. It was high-fashion leather coats.
So it starts with the
yeah.
pants and then branches out.
We outfitted the Vikings, the Disco Kings.
What?
It was a hot
Wow.
spot in
All
St.
right.
Paul's Midway Center.
Well, so that actually
Pimps
so
in the
10
neighborhood.
grand plus outfitting the Vikings. I don't know, man. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Candace, have you ever quit a job? You ever quit a job and walked out with just left people on their knees, just begging you to come back? No. Did you ever come on, anything crazy?
Well, the day is young, Steve.
Well, here we go.
No,
could be the day.
no. I left all my jobs on pretty good terms. I worked for one bad guy that one of my other coworkers had to help me kind of get out of their situation. But otherwise, yeah, no. But I'm much, much, much younger than you guys, so I have a lot of life to live.
Much.
I'm picturing someone smuggling you out of the building, a tunnel, going
Kind
over the wall. They helped you get out of there and away from that. All right. Created a diversion while all right, grabbed your last paycheck and ran. I like it.
I left several food service industry jobs, and always with either it was that thing of like, as I'm about to be fired, I say, you know what, I'm out of here, but just beating the axe by a second. And I always thought, and I'll handle my own severance. I was at a Mr. Gaddy's Pizza, and right as the guy was about to fire me and throw me out because I would whistle in the kitchen, and he was that's a health thing, you can't do that, and I just kept, and I would respond with a whistle. He'd say, Gorman, if you keep whistling, you're not going to be able to continue to work here, and my response would be, I would do that. Oh my God, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
And as he was just about to lay the hammer down, I said, you know what? I tell you what, we're sick of each other. I'm just going to go. I'll make it easy on you. And he's like, I think that's a good idea. And I said, I'm just going to finish up this last order and I'm out of here. And I immediately put an extra large with everything into the oven. And he thought I was finishing the last order. And then I took it out, put it in a box, sliced it, and walked home with it.
Oh, that
I was
boy.
like, yeah, that's my set. I'll take a pizza to go, thank you.
That's a pretty good quitting story. I
And
like
he looked
that
at
one.
me like, and I was like, what are you going to do, call the cops and say I stole a pizza? Go ahead. I just walked out the back door with it. And by the way, still wearing the apron. I had the Mr. Getty's apron at my dorm room going, it's a pretty good apron, actually. I'm glad I left with it.
I'm delivering it to a place I used to deliver newspapers to before I quit that job.
Exactly right.
I like that. And besides, are you supposed to whistle while you work? Ask the dwarves, man. Come on.
Exactly. Health hazard, please. It's a frozen crust with some tomato sauce and like sprinkled oregano, and we're calling it pizza. We got bigger issues than me whistling on this food.
That sounds good to me right now.
Actually, anything sounds good to me right now. It's time for the man that Roger Ebert once called the Joe DiMaggio of Arthur Miller's. It is Mike Evans.
Come on, man. Walk towards your daddy now. Come on now.
What do you say, Mike?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. It's National Slurpee Day. It's also National Prime Day. A lot of bargains on Prime. And, Steve, I don't want you spending too much money on me today.
You know what? I appreciate that. And out of respect, I will go from very little to nothing. How's that?
Love Nuggets, setting the record straight. Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell were never really an item while shooting Mission Impossible. They just led the media to think so for a little added publicity. Gee, you wouldn't expect Hollywood to do something like that.
Tom Cruise in a match made for Hollywood? No way.
Yeah, I know. Movie news on July 21st, I will review Barbie and Oppenheimer. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm about looking as much forward to watching Barbie as a root canal, but I'm going to have an open mind. I just don't get it, but we'll see how it goes.
I'll be honest with you. I can't wait.
Really?
Yeah, hey man, I would watch Greta Gerwig sleep. I would watch her documentary about me sleeping. I would watch Greta Gerwig read the phone book. She's a genius, and I'm all in.
No, I don't know what to think of it. I mean, I've heard a lot of people who have seen it, that talked about it. Some people absolutely loved it. They said it's full of surprises you won't believe. But I'm really excited to see Oppenheimer, a true story, piece of real history. And I'll tell you another movie, Steve, that I'm really excited to see is Napoleon. Another piece of history. Joaquin Phoenix plays Napoleon. That sounds like great casting, doesn't it?
Wow. Yeah, and what with all that recently uncovered information about how the French used to measure things, Napoleon wasn't as short as we always thought, so I could see Phoenix making sense in the role.
There you go. And Ridley Scott's going to be directing it, by the way.
Oh, what are you kidding? Then yeah, all right, I'm in. I didn't even know about this. How exciting.
It's going to be opening at theaters on Thanksgiving.
Oh, come on. Like, that's around the corner. I thought it was like next week.
No. I'm just giving you a little advance. So the 4th of July, Heather Locklear was photographed talking to herself, making faces, sitting on the roof of her Malibu home. Last Sunday, she was on the beach talking to friends, everything normal. I've heard Heather's drug of choice is mushrooms. Maybe that would explain it. I don't know.
Mike, I talk to myself all the time. I walk aimlessly. I don't look like Heather Locklear when I do it, but I can say, I can relate to some of that. It's probably just doing what she does.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Medical update. Great news. Over the past 3 days, Jamie Foxx has been seen on a boat on the Chicago River hitting golf balls at Top Golf in Chicago. Had lunch yesterday at the Navy Pier. That's really great news. Great.
Well, yes, what a strange thing. All of a sudden, he goes from 0 to 100. Now he's out hitting balls, going to the Navy Pier, riding boats.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Something tells me this is a lookalike. I smell something fishy.
Some people might think this is a good story. I'm not going to say that, but O.J. Simpson is now under a doctor's care with a heart issue. O.J. Simpson.
Oh, did you hear about him? What was that story? Oh, yeah, he killed some people.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
And I covered the trial. I was there every day, and I don't know, but Steve, I thought he was guilty. I don't know what was wrong with me.
It's an amazing thing when you can be both guilty and attempted to be framed. What a trial, huh?
Exactly. And then write a book, If I Did It.
Yeah.
Odds and ends. Wimbledon is currently taking place in England, and a lot of stars are there. Kelsey Grammer, Jessica Alba, David Beckham, Judd Apatow, Seal, Lindsey Vonn, Elle Fanning, and that was Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry making out in the stands, getting a little sneak on.
Hey, don't forget my sister Bev. She's there.
Oh, is she? Good.
Oh, yeah.
Could you give me a shirt? I'd appreciate that.
I'll see. Well, miracles have happened before. We'll see what happens.
Strictly rumor that Kevin Spacey's attorney may be floating a possible plea bargain. Odds makers in England are making bank that Spacey will go to jail. This thing will end sometime this week.
I love the fact that you can get odds in England on whether or not my weed eater is going to work on Saturday. They will bet on anything over there.
I love it. Theater owners surveyed what actors are moviegoers getting tired of and are not as bankable as they used to be.
Okay, first of all, Kevin Spacey. Who else?
The J-Lo at number 3, Steven Seagal number 2, and Jared Leto number 1.
Okay. Is Jared Leto? He's got that band, that 5 Seconds to Mars or something, right?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a personal, very odd nugget, but I want to share it with you. Not the same year, of course, but my lovely wife Cheryl shares the same month and day birthday as Paul McCartney, and our youngest daughter Ashley shares the same month and day birthday as the other living Beatle, Ringo Starr. But I got to tell you, that's where it ends. They don't play an instrument or sing. That's about where it ends. Yeah.
June 18th and July 7th, said the Beatles jerk in the corner.
That's the one. You got it. Hey, everybody, have a great day. Be safe. Talk to you tomorrow from Hollywood. See you.
Thank you, Mike. Bam.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Jared Leto. Anyone ever see Jared Leto's band, that 5 Seconds to Mars?
No, I have
30
not.
Seconds to Mars?
Whatever. It's 30 seconds.
It takes a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
Saw them at a festival in Spain and
Yeah.
just stared at him going, this is why actors, this is act, dude.
Yeah.
Get in front of a camera. Stop this noise right
I'm
now.
not impressed.
Kind of how I felt when I saw Dog Star at First Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
Keanu Reeves band.
Good guys,
Good
nice
guys.
people. Well
Yeah.
done. But stop.
Yeah.
Please,
Right.
please. It's just confusing. Candace, let me ask, do we still have a caller on the horn?
Yeah.
We were discussing great stories of quitting jobs earlier in the show, and I believe we have a caller who wants to share some thoughts with us. Who have we got?
Greg from Newport.
Greg, good morning, sir.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, it's actually George, and
Oh,
it's actually
George.
Polish. It's actually the Polish Prince I go by.
Oh, okay. I should have known.
PP.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
you
Polish
know me,
Prince.
Candace. You know me, Candace. I've
I'm
met you before.
sorry.
Anyway, this is kind of an ultimate I quit, go to hell, to go to heck story. I was working.
I heard
I
he
was
said
working
hell.
Yeah, I hope I can say hell. But anyway, I'm working at this print shop. I was there for about 2 weeks, and all of a sudden I get to work, and I start doing what I got to do. I run printing presses and cutters and folders, and all of a sudden the owner comes up to me, mad as hell. He goes, "What have you been doing? What have you been doing?" And I go, "Well, what are you talking about? What have I been doing?" I just got here, started doing my job. And he goes, "No, I want to know exactly what you've been doing since the minute you punched in." And he basically kind of shoved me in the shoulder when he said that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, number one, I quit. Number two, I'm going to sue your ass.
Wow.
And he goes, no, Senator, I just need to know what you've been doing. You've been here an hour. Then I got to thinking, he forgot about changing the clocks. He thought it was 9 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock. I just
Wow.
punched in.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, did his uncle
I
own the
thought that was
business,
just
or how did he get
crazy.
that?
Obviously, he didn't deny my
Unemployment, you stuck with the quit after that. That a boy.
Oh yeah. Didn't. Hey, I got a quick question for you, Steve.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you. You're on from 10 to 3 in the morning again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you work so much. But thank you, because I have insomnia, so I sleep 2 hours and then I listen to your stories and then I fall back asleep and I get up and I
Yeah.
hear more stories. So thanks for being on late night too.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to my world. I'm glad that the Polish Prince is on board. Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Your Highness.
Cheers. Man.
Well, I love that.
yeah.
That's great.
What
the hell?
Oh, boy. I wish he hadn't mentioned the late night show. It just makes me, now I'm tired and hungry. Before
Yeah.
I was just hungry.
Yeah.
Now I'm tired and hungry.
I don't know how you do it. I mean, that all-nighter and then to reload here for the big morning program, it's impressive.
You're a hero.
Well, that Verve song, The Drugs Don't Work, was wrong, frankly. They work great.
They work till they don't work.
They sure do. How about this? How about we look back? History lesson time. It is July the 11th. On this day in 1914, and this is a fitting story as we wake up and see last night's home run derby highlights. Vlad Guerrero Jr. Winning last night's home run derby in the major leagues out in Seattle. On this day in 1914, George Herman Ruth made his major league debut. He was nicknamed Babe Ruth. You've probably heard of him. He was 19 years old, and his debut came, of course, as a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. He won his first start, beating Cleveland 4-3. The Red Sox acquired Babe Ruth from the Baltimore Orioles. The O's tried to sell him to Philadelphia and Cincinnati. Nobody was interested. He was a guy that no one saw coming. Boston was just trying to, fill out the roster, ended up getting the great Babe Ruth. And then, of course, a few years later, they traded him to the Yankees, and that was a bit of a mistake. Anyway, all this to say, the guy's got a candy bar named after him. That's still pretty impressive.
Yeah, all these years later.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, July the 11th. It's a great day to quit your job, damn it. I mean, every day is a good day to quit your job when you're ready to quit. Sometimes, though, you're not ready to quit and you do it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've all quit jobs, and sometimes they're a little more dramatic than others. Sometimes they're a little more thought out, and sometimes they're just you're shooting from the hip. You feel cornered, and bing, bang, boom. Next thing you know, you're unemployed, but you feel good about yourself. There's all manner of ways to quit your job. We are off and running on a Tuesday discussing this very thing. And if I'm not mistaken, Candace, we have a caller who would like to share a story.
Listener. Oh. Wait, oh my God, my brain just farted. I'm sorry.
Well, then we have
sorry.
a caller who
I was
is
typing.
also a listener.
Yes,
That's
I was
cool.
typing while I was talking. Okay, Greg from Hudson, Wisconsin.
Greg, good morning, sir. How are you?
Greg, it's close. It's actually Drake. It's
Oh my God.
Wow.
I quit.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
No, Candace, you're fine. You're fine. My friends call me, yeah, Drake. It happened.
Hello, Hank.
Hey, well, Hank,
Drake.
you why not?
Hey, dude from Wisconsin, what's up over there?
Oh, well, just rolling through the green hills of Wisconsin at the moment, so you might lose me a little bit. But, yeah, so I quit my job about 2 years ago. I was working at Norlake, and it was a good place to work at, but I worked there a little too long, and I had a friend who she walked out the Friday before I put in my 2 weeks' notice.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually, she's my roommate, and I was like, I'm going to think this one out. So I went to Walmart and got this beautiful, beautiful I'm sorry for your loss card and handed it to my supervisor. I got an F-bomb out of him, just like that's the only story he got. The thing is, 2 weeks later, I took an exit interview, and they gave me a gift card for $20 to Walmart. The hard part about that was $5 more than my Christmas bonus that they gave me, which was $15 to Walmart. I was like, you guys are paying me more to leave? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah,
It was
well,
a great time there.
Yeah.
it had to feel good. I think you're doing okay. You're better off now. It's in the rear view.
Yeah, I didn't hold you back. You're
For sure.
off to
I'm in
work
the
this morning.
construction now.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, thank you for the call, and we appreciate you listening, brother.
So, I listen every morning. I want to say good morning to y'all. Have a good time, and I'm still listening for the next hour at least. So, keep it
Oh, well,
going,
right
John.
on. That's great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Drake.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
It's a long commute in.
Yeah, for sure. I'm thinking of as I mentioned earlier. I think about quitting for about 3 seconds every morning. I'm like, oh no, and then come in and we all hang out and truly have a good time. But could we get some? We need food delivered mostly. Like, can we not have breakfast provided for us when we get to the studio?
Well, someone should have negotiated for that. Come on, you guys. Next time.
Well, and I'll tell you why I say that. I mean, have you guys? We're looking over the new food at the Minnesota State Fair that's going to be coming up.
Are you looking over my shoulder?
Oh my God! This article, it's just page after page of things that really make me want to. Well, I just want to strap on a feed bag and get some work done.
Oh, my God. I'm going to gain so much freaking weight in
I've
August.
only been to the Minnesota State Fair once. I played there. The Black Crows played there in 2009 or 10. And the what we heard going in, ahead of time was, it's the biggest fair and it's the biggest state fair there is, or it's as big as any. And it was literally like the food. And you can get everything fried. And the guys in the crew were like, I had fried spaghetti meatballs and fried Oreos and fried everything and whatever it was. And we did. We sat around on the crew bus and the band bus just gorging ourselves. It was as uncomfortable a show as I've ever played.
Yeah, sounds the idea, my tactic is when I get there, gorge right away, get that first bellyache in, and then do some walking. Put on the tread,
Yeah, right.
Or take off the tread, I should say. But anyway, yeah, just get some walking in, meander around, because there's always, I like to get 3 good bellyaches. I've overeaten at each state fair visit, unless, of course, we're working out there. Then you got giggles right there and all that
Sure.
good stuff. But, yeah, this year's lineup is another big home run out there.
I'm looking at a bacon-wrapped waffle dog.
That's exactly. I'm staring at it like I've never looked at a human being I've loved like I'm looking at this bacon-wrapped waffle dog.
And the griddled bacon-wrapped Kramer Truck hot dog served on a Nordic waffle with cheddar cheese, pickle slices, crispy onions. Literally, I could put 2 of those down right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Of course, what is that? Bassants in 2 varieties, everything cream cheese and sweet corn. A buttery, crisp, and caramelized pastry, a combination of a bagel and croissant, everything cream cheese, Bassant. Oh, I see what they're doing there with the Bassant.
Croissant.
Rolled into poppy seed, sesame seed, onion flakes, garlic flakes, black pepper, sea salt, scallion cream cheese, sweet
God.
corn.
Just torturous.
Oh, don't forget the fresh sweet corn custard garnished with crunchy caramel corn. I have to swallow it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We need a lot of help. Maybe we can get the good people from the fair to send over some samples ahead of time.
I mean, there's literally 6 pickle items, which is great for me because I love pickles. I really am excited about this kind of a big deal. Pickle lemonade, and there's a pickle popsicle.
That's odd.
Mango pickles.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Pickle fries.
All right.
Oh, there's a dill
What'd you call me?
pickle cheese curd taco that I would roll in.
Yeah. Did you see the cheesecake curds? Eli's cheesecake pieces covered in funnel cake batter.
You dip it.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit of a sweet tooth, huh? You got a little bit of you like the sweet stuff, Sep?
I like it all. I mean, it's I could the cheese curd stuffed pizza pretzel.
Oh,
Say
Yeah.
that 5 times really fast.
See, I don't have the sweet tooth. My dessert to me is just seconds. You know, that's how I look at it. Just another helping. That dill pickle cheese curd taco, though. Good God Almighty. I'm with Tony. Let's roll around in some of those.
Just want to caress it.
Man.
Yeah,
I could do some damage right now. Yeah, make no mistake about it. We're talking about between salivating over foods we have no access to at this particular moment and torturing ourselves. We are discussing jobs that we've all quit. Tony, there's a text or two that you wanted to share.
Yes, this is from where's that? Josh from Egan. I was told on a Friday by a manager I would be fired on Monday as I wasn't meeting expectations, but they really needed me to work the weekend. I walked back inside to work for about 10 seconds, thought about it, and went, F it, and walked out. I heard from others that the manager was pissed. Well, don't ask him to work the weekend after they let him go.
Oh, my gosh.
No kidding. How about this one from Michelle? When I was a lot younger, me and my friend Jen used to work at this birdseed factory, and they gave us clubs. Clubs. Because a lot of times rats and mice would fall out of the chutes and into our bags, and we had to kill those nasty rats. Needless to say, we quit the next day. Shane had a similar story, too. When they hand you the club for rat beating at work, that's not for everyone.
No, I'm. Wow. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh, by the way, so you've got we're going to take this amount out of your paycheck, and then you get 2 bathroom breaks every 3 hours, and then here's a blunt object to murder land mammals with.
Exactly.
The hell?
I know. How about the mouthy? I know probably none of us would put up with one of these comments. Jessica certainly didn't. She worked, I'm not even going to pick on the business. This is all on the manager. Told her that she deserved to die because she didn't know how to make a salad. Jessica told her to F off.
Well,
that's
Life skill.
Well, I mean, it was a particular salad, just not like any salad whip up. That reminds me of this Wendy's employee that quit. This isn't a local story, but it's a piece of audio we ran a couple of years ago where she quit by just climbing out the drive-through window.
I'm going to quit right now. It's hard for me because I love this job and I worked here for a year and I actually really like it, but the managers, the new ones, are being really mean to me. Hey, John, I quit.
Maria, stop.
I'm not a lost cause, and I quit. Goodbye.
Yeah, there you go. She's crawled out the drive-through window, and I thought, oh, you little brat. And then I found out later the other manager said that she's a lost cause. Nope. You know what, kiddo? Out the window you go.
Was there a convertible waiting for her? That would be great.
It didn't show a nice getaway. That would have been
Yeah,
fun.
She was only 8 years old.
It sounded like it, didn't she?
I worked one summer at a grocery store in the produce department, and I had to quit at the end of the summer. And it was the horrible thing about it was when I got hired, the guy that hired me said, well, I don't want to hire someone just for the summer. And I said, well, I'm not going back to school in the fall. I'll be here at least till Christmas. And he was like, really? I said, yeah, I can't. I got to take a break. We don't have the money for the fall semester, blah, blah, blah. And I just lied right through my teeth to the guy because I had every intention of going back to college at the end of August. And I had a great time. I had a great summer, and my boss was really cool. And I spent the whole summer dreading the fact that I was going to have to go to him at some point and go, actually, I am leaving in August. And so it just weighed on me all summer. And when I finally told him, he goes, Yeah, no kidding. You're the worst liar I've ever hired in my life.
And I've hired a few.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait, you knew? He goes, I had a pretty strong suspicion. Yeah. It's like, oh, man, what was it? All the twitching and the flop sweat when I told you I'd be here till December? But but it was like, he liked, we got along great. He was cool about it, at least to my face. But I spent the whole summer just like, just with a weight of a million suns on my shoulders at all times. It just wore me out.
Did you ever have someone, a buddy at a job, one of those toss-away jobs, quit before you? All right, I talked earlier about a local liquor store down on Lake Street that I just one day decided not to go into because I thought the owner was a real D-bag under different ownership now. If you heard me mention it earlier. Mm-hmm. Anyway, my buddy, we were sitting around drinking a few beers the night before, and I'm like, that's it. I'm quitting. I'm not going in, the whole thing. He did it before I did it. My next shift was 2 days away. He didn't show up the next day, and I got the call, Brian, so-and-so quit. I sure hope you'll be in tomorrow. I'm like, you son of a... Oh, now I'm a bigger D-bag because you quit first, and now they're really shorthanded. And then he wouldn't go in and get his check. And he's like, hey, dude, when you grab your check, can you grab mine?
Oh, no.
I did do it, though.
Well,
otherwise,
sure.
I was going to have to buy the beer. We're unemployed. We need all the money we can get.
That is there's nothing worse. Someone stealing your thunder like that.
I can't picture you working.
I just can't. It's weird to think about you working at doing anything that you're different than what you're doing now. It's just strange.
I've been at it for a while.
I can picture you in a paper hat.
That's because I'm wearing one now, Tony. They make us wear paper hats around here. Just the people that sit in Studio E. Wear a paper hat, Brian. And serve some hot honey cheese sticks. Have you seen the hot honey cheese sticks coming to the State Fair?
Lord.
I know. I digress. We might have to get back to this. We are talking about I quit. Let's hear your I quit job. Maybe you know somebody that's quitting. Maybe you're quitting today. We'd love to hear that. Actually, could you just put your phone on speaker and walk us in and quit with you this morning? That would be fun. That would be radio gold. 651-989-ROCK. Come on, take one for the team. That's the Maple Grove Lock and Save Talk and Text line, also on Facebook. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, July the 11th. Among the things we've been discussing today, great times we've had quitting jobs on the KQ Facebook page. I like this one from Christian. I used to work in the stockroom at a box store in Richfield. I quit before I got fired. At the end of my shift, I opened a can of wet cat food and slid it under the shelf and walked away. I hung out a few weeks later with a former coworker and confessed what I had done. She said, that was you? That smelled so bad. I was pretty proud of myself. I'm proud of you too, Christian. Yeah. Well done.
That's quitting with just a dash of revenge. That's always a nice touch. They have it coming.
Oh, sure. Just a slow burn, burn actually is what that's called. That was what, you could say. I'm sure when someone discovered the source of the smell, they went, oh, what a banger.
What?
Right? We all say banger, right? I mean, it's the ultimate cuss word, is it not? Oh, no, that's right. It's a new curse word, and it's kind of lame. Check this out. A mathematician in England
Stop
wanted
right
to come
there.
up. Yeah, well,
A mathematician in England came up with a swear word for us, eh?
You've got to understand arithmetic is exciting. It's fascinating. It's one of the great gifts of humanity. A mathematician in England set an algorithm to come up with the most, quote, satisfying new curse word. So they're looking for the perfect new word. Now, what the reason she gave for doing this, studies have shown that cussing can help you with pain. If if you stub your toe and you curse, it actually diminishes the pain.
Oh, yeah.
There's a true connection there.
It's a release.
And so this mathematician's like, well, we've got to come up with a new word that operates as a curse word, but maybe isn't a curse word. Long story short, she said the ideal swear word has 4 letters and starts with the letter B because there were more B words on the list. She took a list of 186 words that we consider cuss words. 186 that's way more cuss words than I know. And came up with the ultimate swear word. It starts with a B. You got to have 4 words, but in a perfect world, also there could be an ER tacked on the end. Long story short, she came up with banger. Now, in England, banger is a type of sausage.
Yeah.
You get bangers and mash. It's great. You know, it's a
Absolutely.
Cumberland, like a link sausage is a banger. So I guess we have to remove the sausage connotation and just come up with a whole new way. But anyway, so what I'm saying is, if anything goes wrong on the show today, guys, feel free to just shout out banger.
You banger, you brought her. You know, over there, I learned, and you probably did as well, Steve, that bugger is like the F word over here.
Oh, yeah, bugger off. Yeah, for sure.
That was, you throw the bugger on. I just heard it in a Guy Ritchie movie and decided to throw it out there one time, like bugger off or something. And it was like, oh my God, the reaction. Yeah, I suppose if I was in an airport and said F off to somebody, it would. I had no idea. It just sounds like such a fun word. They just don't swear well. Not as well as we do. Banger, bugger. It's fun.
Well, it is fun. And even when they do cuss with those accents, it still sounds like they're complimenting you. You know what I mean? When someone looks at you and says, "Well, you're just the most ba 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 ba," and you're like, "God, that sounds so lovely. That's such a nice lilt to the way you insult me." It's hard to take English people seriously when they're mad because they're just still so proper.
You made a good consonant. Something hard hitting.
Yeah, that's what we like our K's around here. You know, a lot of sucker. There's a lot of K's in the good swear words, right?
I'm gonna try to work banger in. I'm just gonna see if I can make that a part of things. Listen. I've said this for years. I really want to start saying Hell's Bells, like. The way that's, it's an AC/DC song, but it's also a way of saying, oh, come on, or for crying out loud. Oh, Hell's Bells. I love the way that sounds, but then I always forget to do it. And then if I do say it, I feel it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't roll off the tongue. I wish I could pull off Hell's Bells. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I say banger like once a day to myself.
Whisper.
Well, because if I'm listening to a hot jam, like
Okay.
yesterday I was listening to Fast Car by Tracy Chapman, and I literally said out loud, man, this song, I said, why is this song such a banger to myself in my car?
I never thought of Fast Car as a banger.
Oh, it bangs.
You heard the new country version?
Softly
Yeah,
bangs.
it's okay. It's, I don't know.
Oh, hey, Steve, I've got the perfect context or the perfect situation time you can use banger this morning as a swear word.
Great.
During our interview with Matt Birkbeck, the author of The Life We Choose. That's coming up here at 8:30.
See,
Oh, sure.
Burkback is a good swear word.
Yeah, I don't know if you can work that in there with him somewhere. Heard this book's I don't know, actually, that's not, you have to use it in a swear context. I'll leave that to you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What kind of banger would write a book about the mob in 2023? That's where I'll start with.
Yeah, he's not going to know. He said, is that a compliment? Did that son of a bitch just swear at me? I don't know. What's going on here?
By the way, hey, I got a banger of a story right here. You want to hear about this banger down in Tennessee? A woman in a Murfreesboro woman. That Murfreesboro is a little east of Nashville. A woman from Murfreesboro in a hospital south of town gave birth to a baby boy on June 28th. The boy weighed at birth 13.2 pounds.
It's a big boy.
Crap.
13 pounds. That's an average 3-month-old weighs 13 pounds.
Gave birth to a toddler.
She gave birth to a toddler.
Oh, my God.
And his first word was banger, oddly enough. He's already speaking.
Wow.
We do have Katie Taylor. This is Mom.
This was a shock for sure. Our first was 9:15, so we anticipated a bigger baby, but nothing like this. I'm getting used to it, but it's definitely hard because he wants to be held all the time, so working on those muscles right now. He does eat around the clock. It's kind of hard to keep up for sure.
A 13-pound baby. There are countless women listening to my voice right now who I apologize for putting that image in your head.
My
Because,
brother was 11 pounds.
Really?
Your brother was?
My brother was, yeah. He was a C-section though, but still.
As was this 13-pounder, make no mistake.
Leo is the little dude's name, Leo. Already probably came out walking, didn't he? And guess what? He was 6 days early.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I thought he was out like a month late or something like that. Just get him out of there. He doesn't want to come out. Just get him out of there. But
my nephew Matt Gorman was born in 1984, and he is, as we speak, about 6 feet 10 inches tall. And when he was born, he was really long. He wasn't heavy. He was skinny. He was actually a long, lean newborn, which was a weird thing to see.
Keeps coming out.
But we went up to visit him. My mom and I drove up to Maryland to visit him after, he was born, and he was probably a couple weeks old, and he was already hard to hold. Like you couldn't, swaddling baby. Oh, let me just scoop him up in my arms, and he was like, his head's hanging over my right elbow, his feet are popping over my left elbow. It was like he's too long already. What the hell's going on with this kid?
He won't fit in the crib.
It was really funny. He's the kid that in the family, his mom, my sister-in-law, by the time he was like 3 or 4, she had a copy of his birth certificate in her purse at all times because anything he did, nobody believed he was the age he was.
Right.
Like he's 8 years old and he's going to the movie theater and they're like, he's 12. He's got to pay adult. She's like, he's 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when you are really, really tall for your age, when he was 5, people thought he was 10. Yeah. And you ask a 10-year-old a question and they answer like a 5-year-old. And then you go, oh, poor guy. He must have a head injury or something. And it's like, no, he's actually really smart. He's just half as old as you think he is.
Where he ruled at the carnivals, the fairs. He was getting on the rides way before his friends.
That not only that, also at the sideshow. Guess my age. You know what I mean? It's like, nope, sorry, you're out of luck.
Oh dang! So 13.2, almost double an average boy's. All right. Well, Katie, take a break, Mama. You deserve it.
I mean, that is just,
That's an offensive lineman there.
It sure is. What I would love to see is still photographs of the looks on the nurses' faces as that baby was, as they first got a look at what was happening there.
Oh,
they're all like, holy smokes.
Well, we heard her hip crack, and we knew he was a big one.
Oh, gosh.
Tell me I'm cute.
Yeah.
Why'd you name your son Bubba? Well, we took one look at him, and there just didn't seem to be any other options. Oh, by the way, with the Powerball running rampant now, what are we at, 700 million or something? This got to be there soon if we're not there. A guy in Kentucky had his own lottery win, in a sense, in his own cornfield, stumbled across a bevy of gold coins dating back to the Civil War.
Oh, that lucky! How many?
This is one of those you just think, oh, you really, this happened? More than 700 gold coins from the Civil War in a man's cornfield. Now, he is not, his name and the location's not been released, but there's a video that he posted where you just see him digging the coins out of the mud, and he's breathlessly going, I can't believe this. Which is what any of us would say. I would say the exact same thing. I can't believe this is happening.
I try to say more manly, but
they're calling this the Great Kentucky Hoard.
Oh,
which now I knew the Great Kentucky Hoard, but that's a whole different story. There's no value precisely assigned yet, but one of the coins is an 1863 $20 gold Liberty coin. That's what it's called. In the past at auctions, they always sell for over $100,000. And again, this man found 700 coins.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, we were talking last week about the double eagles. Must have been something about the Eagles show, something double eagles. Oh, when you hear eagles back to back.
Yep.
The double eagles. Yeah, he's got, those are 1863 coins, and there was a mess of those in there as well. This guy. Yeah.
Now, this is millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Banger.
This is Union. He trust me. He'll be shooting off bangers left and right, calling anyone on earth a banger and without fear of reprisal. Now there's legend in the area where this was found of buried treasure. People say, oh, Daniel Boone buried his coins here, and Jesse James, and you always hear these names get thrown around. This is Union currency from during the 1860s, and so the thinking is the owner may have been having dealings with the North, and they wanted to hide the money from Confederate raiders. And they did a pretty good job because that stuff stayed hidden for 180 years, 160 years at this point.
You know, they probably died and took it to their grave with them. But don't you love the idea of somebody out there just driving themselves nuts for years going, where the hell did I I feel like it was over there in that corner of the field, just out there digging.
Yeah.
You know how you misplace things when that.
Well, normally when you see someone doing that, it's their cocaine and they're high, and you're like, you didn't bury a bag of drugs in the yard. I think I did. I think I did for this. I think I did. I was trying to make sure. You always hear about the tweakers who are like, no, I'm sure it's in the backyard. I know I buried some for a rainy day. Little different story here. Someone's like, no, you don't understand. It's gold coins, dude.
Yeah.
Sure. Good luck with that. Can you imagine 700 coins and just the first one he pulls out, someone's like, well, that's worth $100,000. Right. What's 100,000 times 700? It's a lot. That's what it is.
Yeah. I'm not a farmer anymore.
No, not at all. It's that reminds me of the guy who there was a minor league pitcher. Do you remember this story in the Dodgers organization? And he got a signing bonus when he signed with the Dodgers. This is 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, probably now. And he got a signing bonus of, say $100,000. And he had an aunt who lived in Western Massachusetts, and she was about to lose the family farm, literally, like old school, good old Dust Bowl story. And he gives her like $60,000 to cover the debt to the bank. And so basically he now owns the farm that his aunt lives on. He's like, no, it's fine. But he bails her out. And then he discovers that there's quartz underneath the surface of the ground. And the value of the quartz, 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 was determined to be over $1 billion.
What kind of quartz is?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
$1 billion. And right away, he was a minor league pitcher who could have bought the Dodgers.
Did he have Victor?
He didn't. And then there was a story about there was only a couple companies in the world that actually can mine that stuff, though. And like their percentage to get it, they take like 60%. But he's still made out with, buckets of cash.
40% of $1 billion, still not bad, but
doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, July the 11th. Good morning. We've been talking all day about quitting jobs. We've been talking about food at the fair. We've been talking about 13-pound babies born in Tennessee. It's like a horror film. Look out. The zombie apocalypse, I'm worried about the 13-pound baby apocalypse myself. But we're going to put all that to the side right now because we are about to give away some pretty awesome stuff. We've got a game to play. We've got tickets to see either Styx or Eagles and Steely Dan. And in order to give those tickets away, we need a couple of callers. We've got those in place. And we need a game. And I believe we have a game in place as well. Tony, what game do we play today?
I believe you're correct. Yep, it's hot. Are you aware of that? But What's really hot, my friends, are KQ Morning Show listener games. There's no disputing that. And we love for you to win stuff. So let's do so once again with some summer fun trivia, which might make you sweat. We're calling this Hot Stuff.
Ooh, talking about some hot stuff, baby, this evening.
Yes, sir.
Sizzle.
Man, all right. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear a little hot stuff go down. Tony Lee's Hot Stuff on the KQRS Morning Show. Tony Lee, the master of hot stuff. The hot stuff maestro himself.
Opening for Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Where's my
great.
cowbell at?
The mad scientist tinkering away in his radio lab. I'm going to cook up a game called Hot Stuff.
It's hot.
The children will be so pleased.
This is so creepy.
This is great. All right, I'm excited to play Hot Stuff, and I'm assuming, as are our contestants. Candace, who is contestant number one?
Pat from Coon Rapids.
Pat, good morning.
Morning.
Are you ready to play some Hot Stuff with Tony Lee?
I am. You bet.
We're all here, but really, when you say hot stuff, I just think it's Tony Lee's hot stuff. It's got I'm putting it all in your lap, fella. So take it away, Tony.
Well, I am in a mesh tank top, so I cannot blame you. Pat, we're just going to ask you stuff that's summery and hot questions, and you will choose from multiple choice. You ready, Mr. Pat?
Yep.
Stop giggling. You're a giggler. All right, number one, the hottest collective day on Earth since records began on the subject in 1979 was on when? A, July 4th, 2023, B, the Minnesota Halloween blizzard of 1991, or C, the annual Take Your Child to the Equator Day of 1973?
And this is in Minnesota?
No, in the world. The hottest day on Earth.
The hottest collective day for the whole planet. There was one day.
What Steve said.
Do you need to hear those options again,
Yeah,
Pat?
I need to hear them again.
Okay, July 4th, 2023, just a week ago, the Minnesota Halloween blizzard of 1991, or the annual Take Your Child to the Equator Day of 1973. Take a stab.
Just the week ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Took the bait. That's true. Just a
Except for
week
that
ago.
2.5 billion years ago when it was covered by lava. but
Yeah, well, since they
that was
recorded
hot.
it.
Right.
All right, number 2.
Technicality.
Number 2 of the hotness. What summer food is now an expensive delicacy, but was once considered peasant food or poor man's protein? Was it A, Slim Jims, B, lobster, or C, Ballpark Franks?
Ballpark Franks.
I'm sorry, it was lobster. In summer, warmer waters, they migrate closer to shore, shedding their shells, and are easier to catch, but we all knew that.
We all did. All right, 1 for 2, Pat. Hang tough.
All right, Pat, number 3, the hottest place on Earth is the Sahara Desert, Pride Week downtown Minneapolis, or Death Valley, California? Excuse me.
Sahara Desert?
Sorry, I think.
Oh.
Hey, Pat, is your radio up? Turn her down if it is.
Okay.
Turn yourself up.
Yes.
Well, I kind of enjoyed the free fall kumbaya delay action when we were waiting online. So
Yeah, it was very peaceful.
It was. So the answer was actually what? Death Valley?
Yes.
Man, all right.
All right, number 4, the traditional birthstone for the hot month of July is A, diamond, B, ruby, or C, sponge.
Ruby?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, that felt good, didn't it?
Man, it felt so good. That was I was waiting on a sneeze and I finally got it. That felt so good.
Just got one more for you, Pat.
Come on, Pat.
What U.S. city hosts a UFO festival every year in the hot month of July? Is it A, Richfield, Minnesota, B, Waco, Texas, or C, Roswell, New Mexico?
C.
Yes, it is. There's also
Very well
UFO
done,
days
Pat.
in Elmwood, Wisconsin every year.
What's in Elmwood?
UFO days.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's kind of
Wow.
cool. I've been there.
Wow.
All right, 3 for 5. You rallied, Pat, to
Right.
come in well above the Mendoza line. Very well done, sir. So if you will just sit tight, we're going to see what the competition's got up their sleeve. Candace, who is contestant number 2?
Scott from Forest Lake.
Scott, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Are you ready to play a little something we call Tony Lee's Hot Stuff?
Well, this is very, very timely because my wife came up to me last night while I was at work, and she said, hey, I'd really like to go to the Eagle concert. So this fits right in. I'm ready to go.
All right.
All right.
Wow.
Let's make it happen, Scotty.
Yeah. Good. Well, good luck to you and your wife. Tony, take it away. Let's see how hot we can get it.
Number 1. What has the most streamed song on Spotify in the use? Oh my God. What was the most streamed song on Spotify in the U.S. during last year's summer of 2022? What was the most streamed song on Spotify? Was it A, Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush, B, Bop by Hanson, or C, the theme from Laverne and Shirley?
Yeah. That's a good question.
It is.
I like the first guy's easier. Run them by me again.
Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush, Bop by Hanson, or the theme from Laverne and Shirley?
Let's go with A.
Yes, good call.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty,
Oh,
Steve.
yeah. That's it. That's all. That's the entirety of my Kate Bush impression. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was. All right, number 2. What does SPF on sunscreen stand for? Is it A, sorry pizza face, B, sun protection factor, or C, solar polyethylene fragmentation?
Let's go with B.
That's correct.
Oh man, Scott, I can hear he's already got the harmonies to take it to the limit in the back of his brain.
He's already unbuttoning his shirt.
Yeah.
Scotty, the phrase "the dog days of summer" refers to A, the English bulldog that enjoys doing nothing but lazily lounging during the heat. B, Sirius, the brightest star in the constellation named Canis Major, which means big dog in Latin. Or C, the wiener dog races held at Canterbury Park every July.
Going with A on that one.
Sorry.
Oh.
Sirius, the brightest star in the constellation.
Really?
Yes, means big dog in Latin. The dog days of summer.
Wow.
How about that?
I was more than willing to bet the farm on A, the bulldog, the sweaty English bulldog situation.
Yeah.
Huh. I was just picturing Winston Churchill, the bottle of scotch, drunk, sweating in the sun. That's just me. Sorry. All right, Scott, you're 2 for 3, brother. Stay focused. Don't let me throw you off your game.
Scotty, got 2 more. What popular hot weather thirst-quenching drink was originally invented as an ice cream topping? Was it A, Red Bull, B, Mr. Pibb, or C, Hawaiian Punch?
Pressure's on. Going with B.
Sorry, it was C, Hawaiian Punch. Hawaiian Punch.
That sounds good, yeah.
Yep. Got one more for you. What
Did
is?
not know that.
I know, it's fascinating, isn't
I'm
it?
learning a lot about hot stuff today on the show.
Taking you to school, Gorman. Number 5, what is the word for the scientific study of summer brambles like blackberries? Is it A, nerdalism, B, who gives an F-ology, or C, batology?
Let's go with A.
Oh, goodness gracious. It is batology. Study of berries.
What was the answer?
Batology, study of berries.
Wow. Man, Scott, you came out of the gate on fire. And then, a sprinter is never going to win the 10K. That's all there is to it. So 2 for 5, not going to quite give you the win. Pat, against all odds, Pat, you're the winner today of Tony Lee's Hot Stuff. So you've got a choice here, Pat. You're either going to go to see Styx Saturday, October the 14th, or you'll see the Eagles with Steely Dan Friday, November 17th. So, Pat, which would you prefer to see?
The Eagles and the Steely Dan.
Wow, that's a great choice, and you made it sound like that was the dumbest thing anyone's ever asked you, which I understand completely.
A great show as well.
Yep, I'm sure it is. So, Scott, you got tickets to see Styx if you want them. Saturday, October 14th at the Mystic. Pat, congratulations. Enjoy the Eagles and Steely Dan show. And, gentlemen, to both of you, thank you very much for your efforts today.
Thank you much.
You got it. Man.
Yeah.
Sitting here, eating my heart out, waiting for some lover to call. Dialed about 1,000 numbers lately. Almost rang the phone off the wall looking for some hot stuff. Now, for the record, I don't want you to think I just know the lyrics to Donna Summer's Hot Stuff off the top of my head. I did have to look those up.
I don't know. You have them tattooed on your forearm. I can see it.
There was a time when that was the life I led, when Hot Stuff was all the rage. My 8th grade year, better left unsaid, you know. But boy, that was fun. That was fun in a grueling sort of way.
Yeah, they're different ways.
That was fun in a grueling sort of way.
Torturous,
Yeah.
extended sort of way.
All right. Well, while we towel off, take a little break here. We'll be back at 8:30 with
towel off.
Matt Birkbeck.
It's just the whole thing is just cracking me up. I you know what? You know when we really lost track of the entire day? When Tony mentioned that he was wearing a what'd you say?
A mesh tank top.
A mesh tank top.
Right.
That's pretty strong.
I understand that.
That is not kidding.
Oh, hey, you know what? Sorry to cut you off, Zeb, but I need to mention, speaking of hot stuff, 92 KQRS Rock the Boat 80s Party is sold out, okay? It's sold out. The only way on that boat is to win tickets. There will be more chances to win, so keep listening. It's Friday, July 21st with Paddleford River Boats. We're going to launch from Harriet Island in downtown St. Paul for a night of drinks, free food from Lucky's 13 Pub, and live music from Rough House. That's going to be your hot stuff. Rock the 80s boat party. Stay tuned on a daily basis because we will be bringing some more people along for the boat.
I know I should have bought my tickets. Oh, boy.
Damn. I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. In just a few moments, we're going to be joined by an author, Matt Birkbeck. He's an investigative journalist, written several books in and around organized crime. His new book is out today, The Life We Chose, and it seems to be kind of mind-blowing. We'll get into that in a moment. A mob family, names you may not have heard of, but who behind the scenes were clearly very heavily involved in an awful lot of what's been happening in this country for the last half century plus. That's coming up in just a few moments. Last night, did anyone watch any of the home run derby, the Major League Baseball home run derby last night?
I just watched the highlights this morning.
Was watching it last night. And first things first, the way they set it up, they bring out two guys and then they compete against each other, and then the winner advances to the next round. So the first two guys that hit home runs, one guy had like 21 homers, the next guy had 20. So the guy with 21 advances. Then they bring out two more guys and they go 27 and 26.
Yeah.
And the guy with 26 is eliminated. Right. And I'm like, why does the guy with 21, why do that? Just have them all go out together, one after the other. If you got 10 guys in there, don't give me 5 sets of 2-on-2 or whatever it is. Just let them all hit. I don't know. I haven't paid attention to the home run derby in 10 years, and I finally tuned it in, and I'm mad about it.
Well, they used to do it that way, but they felt like if they didn't have competition each time a couple of batters came out, that people were becoming disinterested. Someone would come out and smack 28, and then we'd quit watching or something.
Okay. Well, I guess, that makes sense. Well, ask a question, you get an answer around here. Thank you for that, Zach.
I don't know if it's working or not.
No, it works for me. Hey, we are joined right now, as I mentioned, Matt Birkbeck is on the horn, an investigative journalist and an author of several books. The new one out today. This is a book called The Life We Chose, a story. It's William Big Billy Delia. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Matt will tell me in a second. The Last Secrets of America's Most Powerful Mafia Family. There's a story, the Bufalinos for years, 50 years, behind the scenes, the most powerful family, arguably in North America, in the mob. Matt, thank you for joining us on the KQ Morning Show.
Thank you for having me on.
Now, these are not household names, at least not my household. The men that you're writing about in this book, I know the names like a lot of people, Gambino, Colombo, Bonanno. You hear the big five families. You hear about some of the flashier guys, John Gotti. I've never heard of Russell. Is it Bufalino or Bufalino? How do you pronounce that name?
It's Russell Bufalino, and it's Billy Delia.
Billy Delia, Russell Bufalino. I've never heard of these guys, so that tells me that they won. The design is not to be a household name. Is it safe to say they were pretty good at their jobs?
Yeah, actually, I think the genius was that they were based in Northeast Pennsylvania, although they spent a lot of time in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So Billy had been the head of the Bufalino family beginning in 1994 until he got arrested in 2006. But before that, he had spent 30 years with Russell. And he had been his protege and also his so-called son. And he had been very, very close. And Russell was arguably the most powerful and influential member of organized crime in the 20th century. He had been involved he had casinos in Cuba. He had set up the famous Appalachian meeting in 1957. And in 1975, he had been one of the chief suspects in the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. Russell had great influence within the Teamsters Union for many, many years, which was really the strength which gave him his power. And Billy was there along the way. And so when Billy was arrested in 2006, government agencies across the country wanted to talk to him, including the FBI, about Hoffa, and Billy wouldn't talk to anyone. And it wasn't until 2020 when he started talking to me, and he just gives us 50 years of history.
Okay, so I got to reset that because what you just said is kind of mind-blowing. So you've got Russell Bufalino is the head of this crime family. He's involved in everything. Billy Delia is his protege, his right-hand man for years, ultimately takes over the family. And then after all these years, he's arrested in 2006. In 2020, he talks to you and has information about Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance?
Yeah, so, everyone, like I said, when he was arrested, New York City Terrorism Task Force, Secret Service, Homeland Security, FBI. Everyone went to go see him to talk with him. And he refused to talk. Because they were trying to, they're still trying to solve the Hoffa mystery, and then Billy was involved in so many other things. When Russell had been the mob's negotiator until he went to prison in the 1980s. Whenever there was a major issue with an organized crime, everyone went to Russell. And, and Billy assumed that role. I mean, one example would be Billy was called in to settle a dispute between Donald Trump and the manager of Michael Jackson. Trump had gone out and listed two mob guys from California to convince Jackson's manager to allow him to play in Atlantic City in 1988. And Jackson didn't play casinos, and his manager told Trump that. So when these mob guys show up or they start threatening him, he reaches out to the manager, and they end up getting Billy to intervene, and Billy puts a stop to it. But then Billy says to him, oh, by the way, I'm now your partner. So Billy became Michael Jackson's co-manager.
Oh, my God.
And he ended up spending a lot of time with him that summer on his bad tour.
Okay, this sounds like...
it sounds like a screenplay, doesn't it? They're tied into everything. My Aunt Jane's going to go nuts. You even talk about the Buffalinos. This is the family we never heard of that did everything in the mob. You talk about some connection to the Kennedy brothers even in the book?
Yeah, so Russell Buffalino had testified during the rackets hearings in the late 1950s, and he and Bobby Kennedy hated each other. And then that continued on through the 1960s until the assassinations of both John and Bobby. And then in the early 1980s, when Russell was going to prison, they were trying to get a pardon for him, and they ended up sending Muhammad Ali and his trainer, Angelo Dundee, to go to Washington to visit with Ted Kennedy to see if he would help with the pardon. And when Ted Kennedy finds out it was for Russell Buffalino, he throws them both out of his office. So the Buffalinos, that's what's amazing about a story like this. It's just that very few people are aware of it. And that was the genius of Russell Buffalino. He was a quiet, he kept himself out of the press. He was somewhat quiet, but he just carried such immense power, and very few people knew the inner workings of the Buffalino family until now with this book.
This is I'm right? I got to say, Matt Birkbeck is with us on the KQ Morning Show, the author of the book The Life We Chose. You've already blown all of our minds in 6 minutes here. This sounds like, as Zepp said a minute ago, sounds like a screenplay. There's also it's surprising, but now that I'm talking to you, not so much. Buffalino was involved in the making of The Godfather, correct?
Oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah, so we just, one of the New York papers just ran an excerpt on that, and it's actually gotten a lot of publicity. Russell Marlon Brando had reached out to Russell, and there's a great chapter in the book about this. He was looking to basically, how am I going to play a mob don? So he reached out to Russell Buffalino, and Russell taught him how to be a mob don. And then there's all kinds of other things that the Buffalinos were involved with the movie, different mob guys that were in the movie, the influence Russell had on the movie. So it was all pretty fascinating.
It's in like a show like The Sopranos, you see them talking about The Godfather. You see them talking about Goodfellas. They're making references to mob, stuff on that show. And then I remember David Chase saying, oh, no, the mobster. Yeah, they all love that stuff. They're all paying attention. That's very real. But this is the first time I've ever heard a specific name, especially someone with the kind of juice that Russell Buffalino obviously had, having his hand in the creation of one of those things. I still just can't get over the fact that this guy somehow was able to maintain a bit of anonymity amongst the general public for decades of pulling strings. I mean, what an accomplishment. Is he from Pennsylvania? Is he born there? What's this guy's backstory, Buffalino?
Buffalino, he actually was from Italy, but he came here when he was a year old in the early 1900s. But he was born into a mafia family.
Right.
And he went to Buffalo and was raised in a mafia family there. And then where his power really came from was during the 1940s when he placed his cousin, William Buffalino, with Jimmy Hoffa, when Jimmy Hoffa was just starting. And William Buffalino became the general counsel of the Teamsters. And it was through William and Hoffa. Buffalino and Hoffa were very, very close. and that Buffalino became so powerful and influential, particularly over the Teamsters Central States Fund. Buffalino would be there doling out loans for, casinos, office buildings, whatnot. So that's where he got his juice from.
Wow. Has Martin Scorsese called you yet? He's got his next movie project here.
He already did his movie, The Irishman. Unfortunately, according to Billy, it's fiction.
Oh.
So explain that.
I'm not arguing with Billy.
Where is Billy now? He's out of prison, correct?
Yeah, Billy got out of prison in 2012. He lives a quiet life in Northeast Pennsylvania. He grew up in that life. It was hard for him to talk, even though he had reached out to me. It took us we spoke for well over a year and a half, and we still talk to this day, obviously. Mm-hmm. And he, it took like 3 or 4 months for him to really talk to me. He basically had to trust me. But once he started talking, and we just continued talking, then all these stories just started to flow, and it was just remarkable.
Matt, could you? I think the mafia or organized crime, the Cosa Nostra, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't hold in the modern era. Has it really been fractured and broken up and marginalized, or are they just do they still have their hands in everything, and are they just quieter about it?
The Italian mafia is not as strong as it used to be, but there are other organized crime groups now. There's the Russian mob, for instance, is very powerful, particularly in New York.
Right.
So it doesn't have the so-called juice that they used to have many years ago. The government basically began prosecuting them with the RICO Act in the 1980s. But they're still there. And, they're still doing business, and they still have control over some unions and whatnot. And, they're in the underbelly of American life, and they probably always will be.
Matt, you've dropped so many amazing things to think about just in, like I said, in just a few minutes here. When you were sitting with Billy and he started telling you those stories and you had gained his trust, is there one, you don't have to give me all the details, but is there one thing that you, more than any other, went, I can't believe I'm hearing this from this guy?
Yeah, I mean, the different stories there were several stories about Donald Trump. Billy dealt with Trump when he was the head of the Buffalino family, so that kind of blew me away. And then, this meeting in 1975 involving Jimmy Hoffa, what happened to Hoffa after he was murdered. It was just a couple of days, and the meeting sheds light on who ordered Hoffa's murder. So, there were a multitude of things that, he had told me that just shocked me. Those two are probably the ones that come to mind. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. The Life We Chose is available wherever you buy books today. Matt Birkbeck, man, this is, I will read this book. You have given us all plenty to chew on today. Thank you for taking the time, and best of luck with this book.
Thank you.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
KQ Morning Show. It's Tuesday, July the 11th. Good morning. If you've ever quit a job in any way beyond, putting in your 2 weeks notice and shaking hands and being respectful and as they say, the right way. If you've ever quit a job in any other way, we'd love to hear from you. 651-989-ROCK, the Maple Grove the Maple Grove Lock and Safe talk and text line. You can text us. You can call us. The Facebook page on KQRS, we asked people about some I Quit stories, and we've got a ton of them. Always enjoyable. Always a good time. I quit my job at a record store, not in a bad way, in a great way, in the fall of 1989. I got a record advance of $1,000 for my band's first album. The label gave us $5,000. There was 5 of us. We all got $1,000 as an advance for Shake Your Moneymaker, the debut album by the Black Crowes. And I walked into my record store in the middle of October, and I put in my 2 weeks notice because I had $1,000. And that was going to last me a really long time. And then on Halloween Day, I worked my final day. I wore a suit, and I walked out of there like it was a parade with fanfare, and everyone said, "Go get him, kid. We love you. Best of luck." And I was right back at that store by Thanksgiving without $1 to my name.
The return of shame.
It was, I literally walked back in like, "Hey, can I can I work Thanksgiving weekend? I need to pick up some hours. And then I stayed. And then when the album came out in February and I left to go on tour, everyone's like, we'll see you next week. I was like, no, really, we're going on tour. I swear.
This is it.
We'll see you next month. That time I did a slip away from the shackles of retail, never to return. Although I did return a lot just because I like to go in there and hang out. But, those are the kind of things that happen. But share your quitting stories with us if you got one. But first things first, right now on the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and Text line, if you want to text the word car, CAR, to 651-989-ROCK, you will have a chance to win $92.50 in free gas, tickets to an upcoming show at the Medina Entertainment Center, plus a shot at free gas for a year. Free gas for a year. Text CAR to 651-989-ROCK right now. Sponsored by Body Gastroenterology. The prize is provided by Quick Trip and the Medina Entertainment Center. The word car, for the record, the only thing my son said till he was like 2.5 years old. His word for everything, car. He said, hey, buddy, how you doing? Car. Everything was car. And my wife and I thought it was so sweet. And we have home videos, of him just car. And then, so he had been doing this for months. And it was literally, at some point I thought like, wait, is he going to be one of those kids that doesn't ever learn how to speak except this word? And I was a little worried about it. My older brother, Tom, came to visit us. We lived in Los Angeles at the time. And when he heard my son saying car, he looked at me and goes, that's unbelievable. I said, why? He goes, that's what you did. I said, what? He goes,
Seriously?
When you were a little kid, you said everything was car for months. And I was like, no way. He goes, yeah, man, ask mom. And I did. And my mom was like, oh, yeah, honey, all you said was car for months.
That's unbelievable.
So
Isn't
it's a
that crazy?
mental defect.
God.
It's hereditary.
Yeah, so we both bumped our heads on the same place. Car?
Yeah, it's weird. Some things that you don't think about that too often. How many things you have in common with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a really deep, dark, weird spot yesterday, and I was wondering if my parents liked the same things that I like sexually. And I don't know why I thought about it, but I was just like, that would be weird.
Okay.
There was a big pause there.
Thanks for dragging us into your deep, dark abyss.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I am the way I am.
Yeah, probably.
So this is just a thought process. This isn't something that you then took to the phone or to email to get an answer to.
Yeah, because maybe they have videos or pictures they would love to share with you.
Yeah.
Kink might be hereditary now that I don't know.
Yeah, I just there's
Well,
could
you know
be.
where they
one
like
might
to
have been,
they
right?
like to do it. Car.
Car. Well, we'll go down the list. Everyone's got blonde hair. You guys have that weird thing. You always eat liver and onions on Thursdays. That's a weird one. So yeah, it would totally check out that your parents are into heels and spangles and weird David Bowie B-sides. I mean, whatever it
Is that
takes,
what you're
right?
into, Steve? Because that's not what I'm into.
Sorry?
Is that what you're into? Because that's
Oh
not.
no, I'm sorry. I thought that's where you were going. I was just assuming. Wow. The greatest thing to me about this show is that we can be having a perfectly reasonable conversation about me and my loving son and how we share a wonderful little cute, like an adorable little thing. Like, oh my God, he was the cutest baby and he loved the word car. And then me in my late 30s being told, and so did you. And this connection I have to this perfect little cherub. And now I'm thinking about Candace's sexual proclivities and maybe her parents sharing the same. So we try to get a lot done. We cast a wide net is my point.
I mean, come on, let's be honest. Now we're all wondering.
Yeah, thank
if we
you.
share our parents' kinks or no, I can't even go there. I'm weird.
It's all about family.
I hope I didn't pass anything along. It might explain some things. Hold on, I got to make a text. I'll be right back.
Oh, man.
Lighten up, you guys.
It's all right.
Listen, all that's happening right now, Candace, in case you're wondering, is there's three gentlemen that love and care about you who are resisting the urge to go, so what's your list? Lay it on us.
Well, I'm planning on calling her mom
respectful.
later. I'm going to figure it out the other way. I'm going to come in top shelf.
Well,
Maybe
remind me
that's
never
on
to
the
bring
list.
my mom around.
I'll
Do
let
you have
know,
any?
Candace.
Well, how about this? Let's not talk about your parents and whether or not you guys have the same kink. Do you have any of the same hobbies? Like, do you collect anything, Candace? Do you have a collection of X, Y, or Z?
Not anymore, Steve. Not
anymore. What'd you have? Pokemon cards?
Yes, lots of Pokemon cards. I had a lot of Alias trading cards as well. Barbies.
From the Jennifer Garner show?
Yeah,
Alias?
I was strangely obsessed with that show.
There's nothing strange about that. The wigs alone kept me coming back.
Thank you. Finally,
Yeah.
someone gets it.
I didn't know there were trading cards for Alias.
Oh, yeah, there was everything, man.
Wow. That's outstanding. How about this? There's a guy in Iowa who claims to have the world's largest collection of pencils.
Wow.
Yeah. I tried to set that up so you'd think I was going to say something cool. No, pencils. Says he has over 70,000 pencils, wooden advertising pencils. He's been collecting them since he was a child. The Guinness World Record says the largest pencil collection is a dude in Uruguay. Is it Uruguay? Uruguay? How do you pronounce that?
Uruguay.
Uruguay.
I did. I got corrected one time in college.
Really?
Yeah.
Uruguay.
Yeah, someone who was from there.
There's a guy from that country that's not Argentina or Paraguay who has 24,000. And now the dude in Iowa goes, wait a minute, hold on. I got more than 70,000 pencils. And I have nothing to say to that other than, man, if that is what makes you feel good, then by God, go with the pencils. But I get stamps, I get coins, I get albums, I get a lot of collections, but I can't for the life of me imagine why pencils would become a thing.
And are they in lighted display cases?
I don't know. Maybe this will shine some light on it. I've literally not listened to this. Aaron Bartholomew talking about his love of pencils and his journey to break the record.
I don't know that you can pick a favorite when you've got 70,000 of something. I love seeing the local businesses, for so many of these places, these pencils are the only place where there's any record of that business still. And I think it's just a neat way to kind of preserve the history. Never dreamed I'd be getting to this point. This is kind of amazing.
Really is.
It's a neat way.
Man, I tell you what, aim high, huh?
Yeah.
I never dreamed I'd get here. Well, of course you didn't. Who the hell would dream they'd have 70,000 pencils? It's called a nightmare.
Yeah, it is. Waking up someday and what you've done with your life is 70,000. Well, we'll get them all in the box with you. And they drop you in the ground.
What if someone dared to use one and he's like, oh, God, no.
Yeah, you can't use them. You can't sharpen them.
Yeah. There was I wonder if he's got them all stacked. If somebody could get into that mountain of pencils and just remove a few from the middle that he wouldn't know were taken, and then just imagine him like recategorizing one day. I think I'll do these by how many bite marks I've put in them instead. And then he comes across and realizes there's a missing pencil from the middle. I mean, that'd be enough. That guy's going to snap.
Yeah, like a pencil.
Oh, my gosh. Jinx.
We all saw that
You got a
coming.
lob in there. You got to take a swing, right?
I don't know. Anybody been to McDonald's lately?
A couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I had a McDonald's coffee recently, oddly enough. I was just driving by one and I was like, needed a coffee. And I was like, oh, screw it. I could go and find a Caribou or a Starbucks. I'm going to get a McDonald's coffee. And I did.
Good.
And you know what? It was pretty good.
Yep.
Actually enjoyed it.
Well.
And I asked that just because McDonald's constantly updating their menu, constantly evolving, constantly trying to come up with new ways to give their customers what they're looking for. How about this? How about wedding catering from McDonald's?
I love it. As a father with a daughter, I love it.
McDonald's announced last month it's now offering a $200 wedding plan for those who wish to have the Golden Arches cater their big day. Now, this one is on their Indonesian Instagram account, but the wedding package includes 100 chicken sandwiches and 100 4-packs of chicken nuggets for a wedding. Now, I know some people who would want to do this without question. Like, I know some McDonald's, I call them addicts. I mean, there's something about that food. I know people who eat McDonald's all the time, and I know they would welcome this opportunity here in the States. Candace, you said you know someone who did this?
Yeah, my friends Sadie and Trav had McDonald's at their wedding. It wasn't the main meal, but it was the late night snack. So I don't fully remember.
Sure.
There's some kind of like interesting photos of me posing with McDonald's items like later.
This is just your chance to offer a disclaimer in case those hit the internet again.
Getting back to the kink, are we?
Well, it was late, and I was a bridesmaid, so it was just a long
Sure.
day, and but it was delicious.
The
What'd you have?
The new sandwich, the McDonald'siac.
She had everything. She had McChickens, fries, burgers. I think there's even a McFlurry involved.
Nuggets.
The day my mom dropped me off at college in 1983 was the first time we ever had chicken McNuggets. And I remember it because she took me to school. And we got to town to where Western Kentucky University was. And she said, let's grab a bite. And I said, sure. And we went to McDonald's and we walked in. And I remember this very clear. Mom going, now I've heard about these new chicken McNuggets. And I was like, what do you mean? What's a chicken McNugget? We had a whole conversation about it. Like and we ordered some. I think we got the 20 pack. We committed. Wow. And we sat there and dipped our nuggets. And it was the way people eat caviar in James Bond movies. We were like, this is incredible.
What an amazing time we live in.
I'm telling you, man, that first McNugget meal was gold. And we were literally like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. And then we left the McDonald's, and my mom drove me and my stuff that we had already. I had taken the luggage and stuff. I'd moved into my dorm room already. So she drops me in the Datsun 210 off at the dorm. And as we're pulling up, I am bracing myself for a really emotional farewell as she drops her 8th and last child off. Mm-hmm. I swear to you, I don't think she put the car fully even into park.
She pushed you out.
That car was rolling, and she's like, okay, honey, we'll see you. And I was like, man, no woman has ever been more eager to get a house to herself ever than Imelda Gorman in 1983. It was like, I was like, okay, Mom. I mean, I'm literally thinking like, it's a year after my dad had left, and now she's going to be, she always thought, well, I'll be an empty nester with my husband. I'm thinking all these things. She had already processed the fact that she liked her life a lot better with that guy out of the picture, just like the rest of us. And then I'm leaving, and I'm thinking, oh, man, I'm the baby. It's going to be one of those movie scenes. We'll talk about this forever. She's like, no, don't let that door hit you on the ass. Out of the car, dude. Yep. And I was like, I watched her drive away. Like, I wow.
Laying rubber.
Okay.
She headed back for more McNuggets.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, she's just got to get back to McDonald's, man. She's hooked.
I recently found out that women want us to die young, want their significant others. I was sitting around with a bunch of women that are all, I thought, fairly happily married. We all sit around and grouse a little bit about our spouses. But they're all like, oh, no, if he died, no way I'd get married again. Oh, my God, I wish he'd, sooner than later. Just right down the line. I thought middle-aged women are they're over us. They're just counting the days. Kids, husbands, get out.
I'm over us. Come on. I mean, of course they are. If you're just joining us, none of us quit the show today. I mean, I'm just saying, if anybody was ever going to quit, it would have been today, as we've been discussing quitting jobs throughout the entire morning. And not only we were discussing that, we had several phone calls and a lot of posts on the KQ Facebook page. I'm just going to share one with you. Doug wrote, I flew to Saudi Arabia, wasn't told the full work scope, said, F it, flew home the next day and quit. And then the airlines lost my luggage.
Well,
let me tell you something. I've never been to Saudi Arabia, but that ain't close. That's a long way to go to find out you weren't given the full story on the job you just accepted.
I want to ask some questions before you take off, but hey,
Man. Oh, and then turn right around, fly back, and the airline loses his luggage. Yeah.
Ouch, babe. Or did they?
That's pretty tough. I had one other job experience. I didn't quit the job as much as I forgot I had the job. I got hired. My second grocery store job I applied for was told, can you come in? Can you start Saturday? I said, sure thing. And Saturday, I just totally forgot. Just sound asleep. Phone ringing. Hello. Yeah, Steve. This is the guy calling me from the produce department at a grocery store saying, "Are you coming in today?" And I was like, "Oh, gosh." I forgive me if I'm repeating myself. I told the guy, "I'm sorry, man. I broke my foot." That's what came out. I couldn't think of anything else to say. I didn't say, "I'm sorry, I forgot and I overslept. I'll be there in 5 minutes," which I could have said.
Yeah.
I didn't say something came up. I can't be there. I literally half asleep went, "Oh yeah, I broke my foot," and he went, and just hung up.
That's just not one of those you keep in your pocket just in case this scenario ever comes up. I need a quick answer. So it could have been worse. I was fired one time. I quit one time. I've mostly been fired. But I did quit one time when they just wouldn't give me a raise at a radio station. It was actually my first radio job. And it just kept going on and on and on. They had promised me a raise after 3 months. One of these deals, we'll get them on the cheap. And then, if you're still here in 3 months, and a lot of DJs weren't, but if you're still here in 3 months, we'll give you a raise. 3 months turned into a year. I said, I'm going to look for another job. And the general manager told me, I wouldn't bother. And another radio station in this town that's going to hire you. You're not that good. That weekend, I'm out drinking. I meet the program director of the rock station. He said, yeah, you can come work for us. And that's how I quit. Monday afternoon, instead of driving to that radio station, I just drove to that one and went on the air. The good old days when you could get
perfection.
Away with that. Yeah, that felt good.
That's really good. That's like quitting McDonald's and going right across the street to Burger King.
Yep.
Yeah? In your face, Ronald.
Take that. I'm the king now, baby.
Hey, Candace, before we go into history, have you tracked down any of your parents' kinks yet, or no?
No, I'm busy working, Steve. I keep things separate.
If you don't hear the whole morning show, you miss things like Candace's parental kinks. We get through a lot in a day around here.
That's not what happened.
Is that not what happened?
The way that you said it. No, I just was.
I know Candace is into some weird stuff. Last night she's thinking about. I wonder if Mom and Dad were into some of the weird stuff. Are kinks hereditary?
That's it. That was just a thought. It's not that strange. It's not like I was hoping.
See, the double-edged sword here, that if we put this up on social media, it means that someone asked their parents what their sexual kinks were. I love it. Hey, I'm ready to go there. But I fear the kind of people we would attract.
I tell you what, man, talk about a bridge too far. The last thing I would have ever asked my parents about, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it just the idea of, I could just hear if forced to answer, I can't even begin to imagine, but I know that the words, the Second Vatican Council, the rhythm method, there'd be a lot of,
Right. This is how sophisticated.
The miracle of conception. It would have been all that instead of, no, we just like to get it on.
Well, sometimes, I've been with guys who think I'm weird for the things that I like. And unfortunately, that causes a little bit of insecurity. Mm-hmm. So, if you think about it, maybe you're not alone. Maybe,
what guy is not? I'm trying to think. I've been in some weird situations, but as a guy, you're just open because a woman is spending time with you naked.
Thank you.
If she wants to do something weird, okay. At least I'm getting a story. I can't imagine where your mind goes.
You're
All
right. What losers.
Just text it to me.
Hey, fellas, let Candace's freak flag fly. Okay?
Yeah. Loud. Yeah, they're high and in the wind. I like it.
The wind is whipping. The flag is going to furl and unfurl, and you just got a deal. I better stop talking while I'm ahead. Here's a history lesson. How about that? It's July 11th, and on this day in 1914, which is well over 100 years ago, Babe Ruth made his major league debut. He was a 19-year-old pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. Babe Ruth is still the most famous baseball player that ever was, but that may very well change because the first guy since Babe Ruth to be a dominant hitter and pitcher is now playing. Shohei Ohtani, the Japanese superstar, is about to sign a deal. They're now saying he may be pulling down a $700 million contract after this season. $700 million. And by the way, worth every penny. He's leading the league in home runs, and he throws the ball 100 miles an hour, and he steals bases regularly. There's nothing like him in baseball. And if he's on your team, you're going to sell out every game. Pay him what he's worth.
I didn't realize there was an unlimited amount of money in sports.
In baseball, there pretty much is. It's as weird as it is. As much as baseball has fallen off the map as like a daily national conversation, really, until the playoffs, those guys are making bank, baby.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.